Long ago, when the ruins of Troy still smoldered beneath an eastern sun, a child was born among the scattered survivors, Brutus, grandson of the hero Aeneas, who had fled the fallen city to found a new life in the west. The prophet spoke of a great destiny awaiting the boy, that he would journey beyond the known world to a mist-veiled island and build a new empire there. But fate, as it often does, began with tragedy. While hunting in his youth, Brutus loosed an arrow that struck his own father. Grief-stricken and banished from his homeland, he wandered through the kingdoms of Greece, where he found other Trojans who had been enslaved or cast aside. To them, Brutus spoke of freedom, of the sea, and of a land where their people might begin anew. They gathered their ships, raised their sails, and followed him westward into the unknown. Their voyage was long and perilous. They faced storms that shattered masts and beasts that rose from the deep. But one night, when the sea lay calm beneath the moon, Brutus dreamed of the goddess Diana, standing before him in silver light. "Beyond the setting sun," she said, "there lies an island shrouded in mist, a land of forests and giants. There you shall find your home, and your sons shall rule for ages to come." When Brutus awoke, a pale dawn broke across the horizon, and the westward wind carried the scent of land. After many days, the ships reached a coastline of green hills and white cliffs, the island once known as Albion. They sailed along its rugged edges until they came to a broad estuary, where the waters ran deep between wooded banks. This was the river Dart, and its beauty filled the hearts of the weary Trojans with wonder. They rowed inland until the sea's salt faded from the air. There, upon a flat stone near the water's edge, Brutus stepped ashore. He gazed upon the hills rising before him and said, "Here ends our exile. Here begins our kingdom." That stone, legend says, still rests in the town of Totnes, and the people there call it the Brutus stone to this day. Yet Albion was not empty. From the wild hills came the giants, ancient and fierce, towering over men like trees. Their leader was Gog-Magog, whose roar shook the cliffs. Brutus and his warriors battled them in a struggle that lasted many days. In the end, the Trojans triumphed. Gog-Magog was thrown into the sea, and his people vanished into legend. With their victory, Brutus claimed the island and named it Britannia after himself, the first king of a new realm. Brutus and his people spread across the land, building cities and farms, carving roads through forest and moor. In time, the king traveled eastward and founded a great city upon the banks of a broad river. He called it Troia Nova, New Troy, which in the speech of later ages became London. There he ruled wisely, uniting the scattered tribes beneath one name, Britons. But in the green hills of Devon, the memory of his arrival endures. The river Dart still winds through its valleys, and the stone where Brutus is said to have stood remains set in the heart of Totnes. When the mist drifts over the estuary, some say you can still glimpse white sails upon the water, the ghostly fleet of the Trojans, gliding toward the shore, seeking the land promised to them by the gods. Though historians know this tale as legend, it has lived for centuries in the hearts of storytellers. For in every myth lies a seed of identity, a dream of where we come from and who we might become. The story of Brutus of Troy gave Britain a heroic beginning, binding the faraway ruins of Troy to the rivers and hills of the West Country. And perhaps, in that mist between history and imagination, Brutus still walks. The exile who became a king, the wanderer who gave Britain its name.